Hey guys, I'm just doing a video now about 3 terms and how they all relate to each other. Okay, so the terms I'm going to talk about in this video, or the concepts, are absolute uncertainty, percentage uncertainty, and our accepted value. So all of these terms are to do with measuring and collecting data, okay? And in your practice you might find that you'll need to apply these formulas, and certainly moving forward into 11 and 12 this will be pretty important to any experiments that you do. Okay, so let's define those terms. So another word that I'm going to talk about is best estimate. Okay, so and this all falls into how we get our accepted value. Okay, percentage uncertainty I'll talk about a little bit later in the video. Our best estimate is the average value in a set of values. So let's say you do an experiment 5 times. The average of those 5 results, if they're single figures, would be our best estimate. Okay, and of course we do averages rather than just collect one piece of data once, because that's our better scientific process. Okay, the next term is absolute uncertainty. To find our absolute uncertainty, or as comfortable as we can get with how different our data set might be if we were to do it again, or if it's affected by different values, to find that we would have half the range of the values in a set. So as another example, if you had 5 different results, to find the range you would subtract the highest value from the lowest, and then for this term absolute uncertainty you would then divide that result by half, and it should be a relatively small figure compared to your other data sets. And lastly, accepted value. So that's where these 2 terms come back into play. So our accepted value for a range of data is our best estimate, the average, plus or minus our absolute uncertainty, plus or minus half the range in a set. I'm going to do a practice question on this in a minute. So in terms of formulas, they look a bit like this. Okay, so best estimate is represented here. To find our best estimate, as we mentioned before, it's our sum of x being the values, sum of all the values in a data set divided by the number of values that there are. So that's how we find our average. So let's say there's 5 different points of data, add them all up, divide by 5. Our absolute uncertainty, okay, half the range of values in a set. So that's our max value, take away our minimum value, divide by 2. And so then our accepted value all together in a formula would be our best estimate plus or minus, so above or below, but only above or below the result of this. Okay, I'll do a practice in a second. Here's a practice question for you. This is question 13 from your booklet, so if you've done this already it might seem a bit familiar. I've just shortened the question slightly for what I want for your practice. Okay, so the question is, the scenario is, a physics student records current at 5 different points in a circuit. And the results are 0.52 A for amps, 0.55, 0.53, 0.54 and 0.53 again. And the question's asking you to find the accepted value. So if we remember back, our accepted value is our best estimate plus or minus half the range. So that means to find my accepted value for this question, I need to use the data set to find both of these 2 things separately. Okay, so just put that one to the side. So we're going to find our best estimate firstly. So to find best estimate, we're talking about adding up all the data set and dividing by 2. Okay, so the long way around, of course you'd probably do this on your calculator. But even if you do it on your calculator, guys, it is important to show you're working. So make sure that you're setting it out just like this. So add them all together and then divide by the number. So there's 5 different points of value there. So divided by 5, and that would equal 1.534 A for amps. Okay, probably at the start it would be best to go and put your formula down. Okay. So I have my best estimate that eventually will go in this little pocket of my accepted value formula. Now I need to find this part, okay? So that's my absolute uncertainty. So to find my level of absolute uncertainty, write down my formula first. divided by 2. Okay, so the biggest value here out of my data set, and remember they're probably not going to be in order, so be conscious of that, 1.55, take away my smallest value, which is 1.52, divided by 2, and plugging that into my calculator, I would get 0.015A. Okay, so these 2 points of information, still haven't technically set out my question properly yet. So my accepted value, therefore, equals 1.534A plus or minus 0.015A. So that's technically saying that that's going to be my average current through my circuit, according to this question, plus or minus just this little tiny bit of measurement, so that allows for error in any of our various forms. So that's a little overview there of absolute uncertainty and accepted value. I'm going to do percentage uncertainty in the next video, but using the same question.